Doctors, what's the scariest example of medical negligence you've ever seen? I once had a patient come in with the worst case of acne I had seen in my 10 years as a dermatologist. She had pustules, nodules, and cysts covering every inch of her face. On top of that, she had wrinkles and skin discoloration. One dermatologist refused to treat her because they thought her face was too disgusting to look at, and another dermatologist recommended a product meant for dry skin and another for oily skin, and using both at once damaged her skin barrier. When she went to protest because her skin burned and her acne grew in size, the dermatologist said she was throwing theatrics and had her kicked out. She said coming to me was her final attempt at clearing her skin, and I was determined to actually help her. For one, I had to determine her skin type. Since a lot of people don't know their skin type, I always tell my patients that they can do a couple things to find out. One way is to hook your pointer finger and lightly run it across your lower cheek and down to your jawline. If you hear a noise and feel a bumpy texture where you don't have acne, then you have dry skin. Another way is to drag your finger down your nose, and if it's greasy, you have oily skin. Once you figure that out, you have to get the fundamentals down by knowing how to properly clean and protect your skin. For my patients, I tend to recommend meditation, using lukewarm water to wash their face in the shower, and applying sunscreen before I even think about any formulation. This is because acne is often caused by stress, so meditating every day will easily release all the negative energy from our body. Most girls take scorching hot showers, which leads to dry skin, so it's best to use lukewarm water. And sunscreen is meant to protect every single skin type, and will clear the skin from acne by protecting it from UV rays, and decreasing the chances of breakouts when you go outside. This is very common among young people, and it's a shame because just applying sunscreen could clear most people's skin. So I told her that in order to see a change in her appearance, she would have to do these things every day, including applying sunscreen not just on sunny days, because UV rays still penetrate windows and clouds, so her skin is always at risk of being damaged and breaking out. She said she'll take my advice, and asked me what sunscreen she needed. I told her it had to be one without harsh chemicals in it, because brands like Neutrogena and L'Oreal have octinoxate and oxybenzone. Octinoxate boosts cell growth when exposed to estrogen, which risks the development of breast cancer. Oxybenzone triggers allergies and disrupts hormone functions, leading to reproductive problems. That's why I recommended her a growth factor sunscreen by Sunray, because it doesn't have any harmful chemicals, and its gel-like texture feels great on the skin. 9 out of 10 times when I recommend the Sunray sunscreen to my patients, they all come back with healthier looking skin because their acne scars clear away and their skin looks prettier and glowy, as they are protecting their skin while also rejuvenating its feel. My patient almost freaked out when she saw the price though, but then I explained that people spend thousands on clothes, makeup, and equipment to make their bodies look good. However, our skin is one of the only things you can never take off, so I told her she needed to invest in it. To further ease her mind, I mentioned that she could use makeup to cover her acne, as long as she puts the Sunray sunscreen first, because it doubles as a primer, so her makeup would look flawless, and her pimples wouldn't draw so much attention, and she would still be preventing breakouts when she goes outside. After explaining it that way, she agreed to use the Sunray Growth Factor sunscreen daily, and I scheduled her for a 3-week checkup. When she returned, she said she tried doing all the things I recommended, but she only stuck to applying sunscreen every day because she couldn't give up her hot showers every day, and she found meditating boring. Luckily, because she didn't go a day without wearing the sunscreen, her complexion looked smoother and healthy, and she liked how pretty that made her look. Every time she applied it, she had a rejuvenating feeling that gave her more confidence to tackle her day. And honestly, it seemed like it calmed her stress, which we want to see anyways if we want a patient's skin to clear. She also got rid of all her other skincare products because the Sunray Growth Factor sunscreen was the only thing she actually needed to start clearing her skin. She talked about how applying sunscreen while indoors made a huge difference to her face because it always gave her a consistent natural look. Now that her skin was improving, everyone around her noticed the difference. She told me that people were being nicer to her in public, and she was getting free treats from guys at stores and getting called pretty, along with them asking for her number. She said people usually kept their distance from her, and she wasn't used to all the attention, but she really liked it. This made her stress levels drop dramatically. Needless to say, she wasn't a lost cause like all the other doctors she visited said. Keep in mind, the only thing she was using on her skin was the Sunray Growth Factor sunscreen, and her skin was already starting to clear up, and I was glad she was finally starting to be happy with her appearance.